Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her era lore. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck
Started
is the
off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, welcome to Coffee with Captain. Appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate everyone who helped get the show warmed up this morning. We're also live over on Abstract as well as YouTube. I'm curious, how did your Abstract XP play out this week? I think I was down a little bit from normal, maybe a lot actually. I'm going to go back actually as I warm up and look here now. Yeah, last couple weeks have been down quite a bit, almost in half. Did nothing differently. I missed a few weeks ago 20,000 XP for, again, doing nothing differently. So I went from 20,000, 6,300, 3,500, 3,600. So last couple of weeks, way down after, I think 20K might have been my biggest week. I'm not really farming over there, rather just, we stream every day and, sorry, unmuted that on Abstract. Katie said not good as well. Is everyone's Abstract XP down? I know they tweak that from time to time, but wondering if it's just a me and a Katie issue or more widespread. It is kind of frustrating. While I appreciate the XP and I think the portal was a great idea, I mean, you're seeing that with Monad did something similar. Theirs was almost a carbon copy. And then Mega ETH's portal, well, albeit different. Oh, they changed it to involve transactions from what Payne heard. So there's the alpha. The alpha is get your transactions up. Easiest way to do that is go load us up with some big fat tips over an Abstract chat. I kid, but it is one way if you're looking for simple, low lift transactions, not looking to go play around in the DeFi streets, become a tipper and get those daily transactions in. I still would love to see a way to tip back. I'd love for a way for creators to tip active chat participants. But at least we have dark mode. At least we have dark mode finally live. So there is that. Again, YouTube linked up above. We are pushing hard for 500 subs over there to unlock some new features. And appreciate all those who already have supported us. And if you've not, take 2 seconds, go hit the sub. We don't, you're just going to get the notification for this as well as we've got, we'll publish some shorts over there, as well as the timeline. I put one yesterday from the conversation with Brett up top, and may have a new series launching on YouTube in the near future, working with one of our sponsors. So excited to kick that off and share more. I think probably soon. We've got a couple sponsors we'll be bringing on to do a little deeper dives on what they're building. And anyone else have any audio issues? Russ says been live for 4 minutes and been silenced, no audio 3 times. Not sure what's up with that. Although I did not see the video feed this morning. The X video, it apparently is live because I see it in my right. I'm just going to show you because this something's broken with X video this morning, because Bread usually has well over 500 views throughout the modern market. They just wrapping up an interview with Austin over there. And not only, so apparently the video is live. It's not shown in my feed. So discoverability, I can't even find my own X video live stream. And Bread has been live for an hour and 6 minutes and only has 54 views. Now, Modern Market was discoverable, but I mean, Bread's got a large account, and like I said, his account, when they go live on his video, normally gets well over 500 views throughout that show, and he's sitting on 54 an hour in. And mine, like I said, it's showing it's live. It's showing there's 2 people in there, but I can't even see it on my own timeline. So riddle me that. I'm not going to complain though, because I think X is live and working for everyone except Risk Brian. Apologies. If you're having issues with X audio, you're not going to hear this, but go over to YouTube or Abstract and join us there. I'd love to, hopefully you'll figure that out. If you can't hear me, head up top, hit the videos. As always, I'm Cap, no co-host today. Stage is always open, though. If you'd like to join the conversation at any point, throw in a request to come up, or just add to the combo in the chat. Any questions, comments, all greatly appreciated. GM to all of you, including Thomas, Jason, Web3 Warhead, Von Frunton, Payne, Otis. YouTube chat is dominating the chat this morning. The Purple Pill is back on my end, at least on X. So hopefully you can see the Spaces chat as well. And you probably noticed, well, I guess you wouldn't have noticed if you weren't watching video, but new intro video. Our guy Payne, I know I'm very biased, just like I'm biased Mega ETH. I am biased, and I do think Payne is maybe the most underrated producer in all the space. If you have any, this isn't like his core gig by any means, but if you have any need for professionally edited videos, hit him up, hit the DM the Coffee with Captain account. If I don't forget today, I'll pull that up on stage towards the end of the show. The only reason I'm up there the full show is because I got to keep it plugged in. The old phone, the bat phone, is on its last leg. I can't hold a charge for more than a few minutes if it's not plugged in, and I often forget as we wind down the show. So we'll get that pulled up. But you know what? I can at least join the. I think I can join the audience without audio coming through. Had an interesting conversation. I saw Hizzy dropped a picture of his doggo and earpods. One of my good friends who is an executive with Kroger, specifically the Kroger pharmacy, had a big talk this week, and we were just chatting back and forth. He had the new Meta Ray-Bans and was a big fan, not necessarily for the point of view video or pictures, but the audio, being able to hear, and it's not earpods, and him being in the health industry, anti-AirPods, said I'll quote him, said that we need to get rid of our AirPods ASAP. I did not know this. Found out a little nugget of information this morning that the hearing and losing hearing is one of the things that leads to dementia. I had not made that connection before, was not aware, but I do use AirPods too often, and I probably should go to something like the glasses where it's inductive, and inductive, is that the right word? And not in my ears. That said, and this got brought up because I asked him if he thought glasses would be the next main device, and his take. Because I said I still am leaning AirPod-esque, something like the AirPods. I think is more for the masses than is glasses. I still see everyone wearing glasses in public. He also said too, they're fine outside, but man, you're inside somewhere and you ask it to capture something or shoot a picture or video, and people get really weird when they see it light up. I guess it's they lights up the blue or green light at the top of it it's part of how they're getting around privacy laws and stuff, I guess, and so people kind of freak out. So anyways, I digress. What do we know about Zeet creator or Zeet certified creators? I'm not really sure. I did send off a impromptu invite to Pons if he wants and able to join us this morning. If not today, we'll get him on at some point in the future. We are going to talk a little bit about their creator capital markets they're launching today, as well as at least a flyover. We'll probably, I guess I'll say this, if Pons joins us, we'll go deeper dive. If not, it will just be a flyover. But I would encourage everyone, especially if you ever, whether you consider yourself a creator or not, if you ever participated in any InfoFi campaigns, and that's something that you found value in, I would encourage you to head over to Zeet and at least apply to become a certified creator. Let me drop, you know what, I don't shill ref links enough. I need to do a better job of this. Payne, I don't know how I can create a reminder, but go apply today if you've not already. They're going to be launching the capital market soon. Think of like cards, but it's going to be a free mint. Fantasy Top evolved. Fantasy Top meets InfoFi evolved. And I don't know all the details, but I'm excited for something new. I'm excited for not necessarily a pivot, but seeing how these quote unquote InfoFi companies evolve and what they do now that they've lost the API access for X. Kaido actually came out yesterday and is doing something with, I think it's Polymarket or Kalshi, but I think it's Polymarket. And Zeet is launching this creator capital markets. I just dropped the ref link in the chat. I'll pin it up top. If you haven't yet applied, it can't hurt. It's free to apply. And I don't know, maybe nothing comes of it. Maybe something does come of it, but this is, I'm rooting for it. I've not really been active. I'm a quote unquote advisor per se, but so I'm in a advisor chat, but don't really do. I'm more of a lurker than every once in a while. I'll have a thought I'll share, but mostly just observing. And I do think there is some. I think one or more of these, whether Kaido or Zeet or Cookie or fill in the blank, I think one or more of them will come out and still be a going concern. Kaido, I was trying to find what they just announced. I will track it down. I thought it was from the Kaido account, but I didn't see it at first. So Kaido Studio, they announced a few days ago. New model for curated tier data-driven matchmaking where brands work with creators. I'm guessing somewhat similar to what Zeet is doing, but more so what I was talking about on it was Polygon. Yeah, I probably could use Linktree. Does anyone know how Linktree is impacted? Like for a while, I thought your X account would not be nerfed, but would be negatively impacted if you included a Linktree link in your bio. If anyone has any insight on that, how the algorithm treats Linktree links, is it good? Is it bad? Is it nothing burger? Even if not on the bio, we could probably add a ref link site on coffeewithcaptain.com. While you're over at coffeewithcaptain.com, drop us up and subscribe to the newsletter. You'll get that once a week with all the weekly updates and the poll of the week over there. Thomas also added he uses AirPods all day at work. Would explain why I forgot what my coworkers explained to me. Early onset dementias, no joke. Here is the Kaido announcement yesterday from Polygon. We'll hit on this real quick, then we'll get in touch on some markets. We will some exciting news in the stablecoin world, including MoonPay as well as the U.S. administration, and probably wrap the show with a little bit of culture talk on AI and its impact. Some viral article you've probably already seen hit the timeline. It's a long read, so I'm not going to read that in detail, but we'll share it in case anyone missed it. It's one of those few. I don't share my tech nerd stuff with my friends and family often. I think I shared that no less than 6 messages this morning, including a couple of group chats, and my mom, my brother. Very important to understand for those who aren't as close to the tech as we are. I think it's very important for all to understand not just what's happening in our world today, but how fast it is happening, and it's only going to be getting faster. Appreciate all the. Oh yeah, I mean, Otis, I will hit on that. Not the greatest of news, but yeah, we gotta talk about the another, I guess, ding or black eye for crypto. Not great. This is the Beaver who won $1 million in the X Creator program, was exposed yesterday as a serial rugger by Bubble Maps. So I'll pull that up next, and then we will jump into all things market. Here's the announcement from Kaido, though. We're taking the next step in attention markets, built in partnership with Polymarket, the next stage in predicting internet trends. Prediction markets are becoming a core part of not only crypto, but everyday life more widely. Measurable action that opens up a new way for them to be utilized, letting people predict and capitalize on trends, being built directly into our main site. And with a new standalone site coming, we're going to be opening up ways to predict attention through various areas, starting with crypto and expanding out into AI, finance, entertainment, sports, geopolitics, and other culturally relevant domains. We'll be rolling it out in stages, iterating over time to make it a core part of Kaido and Polymarket's ecosystem. More details on when we're going live soon. They just did a screenshot of the Forbes article, Polymarket to offer attention markets in partnership with Kaido AI. I'll pin that up top if you want to read the article. Good for Kaido, and I guess good for Polymarket as well. I do think I'm kind of surprised, actually, that we've seen, I guess I'm surprised but not surprised at the same time, that we've seen so many collaborations and partnerships. I get it for some. Like, it makes sense for Kaido to partner with Polymarket. Kind of surprised we've seen, the Coinbases of the world. I mean, I'm very curious to see where that heads. Do they continue the collaborations? Do we see some of them spin off and do their own thing? I really don't know, but the TAM is huge. And if you saw the Super Bowl betting, it's mind-blowing how much market share that, not only market share that Polymarket and Kalshi have taken, but how rapidly that sports betting market is growing. Pretty wild. I just saw this as well, so I missed this yesterday. Nikita apparently is very relevant for, like, I'm not gonna say I told you so. I'm not gonna say I saw this coming, but I did. I saw this coming. I think we hit on it. I didn't want something to be taken out of context. Also, some of the agencies that leaned really hard into clipping once InfoFi got nerfed, we do work with, and I respect them. I appreciate the business they send us. It's not personal towards them. I thought it was inevitable that would be the next thing to get nerfed, and sure enough, again, I just literally seen this in real time, so I'll read it together with all of you. But it was so much that it captured the X headlines, at least what's important to me. X targets clipping spam, pauses creator revenue access. On February 10th, X had a product, Nikita Bear, highlighted clipping agencies paying creators to post identical short video clips from podcasts or streams without disclosure, calling it spam, and drowns out genuine content. Elon approved the effort, and soon dozens of creators, especially in crypto circles, reported suspensions from the creator revenue sharing program for alleged violations like coordinated posts. X emphasizes authentic engagement over artificial hype, with appeals available for compliant accounts to resume quickly. Again, I'm pretty sure on the show we said this was probably the next thing that they would go after. X aspires to become the everything app. They're launching creator incentives, $1 million contests, and at the same time wanting to clean up the AI slop. As soon as I saw some of these agencies, it was multiple, it wasn't just one. There was multiple that were touting, oh, we had over 700 applicants for our creator clipper program. I was like, well, this is getting nerfed next. It's just less is more. Quality over quantity when it comes to content. And I'm not dunking on clippers. I think clippers are a valuable resource, and clippers aren't new, but coordinated clipping is new, and it is in violation of X's guidelines, procedures. Like you can't, they don't want coordinated posts. That's a violation of their terms and conditions. So it's very different if 100 clippers all go post the same clip than someone watches a Joe Rogan video and they clip something and post it on X and it goes viral. It's the difference between capturing some good information and summarizing it, or getting a nugget and putting it in a much more digestible form and sharing it. It helps the original content as well as the person who captured it. When it's coordinated efforts and it's hundreds of the same thing hit the timeline, it's spam. And not like, please don't take this out of context. This isn't anything derogatory or taking a shot at agencies or clippers at all. It's just those days of InfoFi and trying to, the Clipper farms was just another variation of InfoFi. Instead of AI slop text, it was AI slop clips. And it's not sustainable. It's not going to last. Here's the take. Joseph Web3 says Nikita destroyed the InfoFi industry, X creator payouts. Reply guy, small businesses. Now he plans to kick the clipping niche too. I think he got someone who is deep in CT who informs him with everything. A busy guy like him who's deep in the tech or back in work must not have time for LARPing and lurking to see what crypto bros do on their platform. He doesn't want X to be crypto friendly at all. While I understand the LL spam bots on the timeline are so annoying, and I kind of like the decrease in slop content, but removing the clipping industry is not good either. Best way for agencies right now is to do it right. Clippers should disclose if they're being paid. Say if they're not being paid, if truly not. Is there a prediction market for this? I bet my whole house, the undisclosed clipping will be gone in under 3 months. Nikita's post was, there's likely undisclosed pays post, also known as clipping. When you see this happen, the person or brand in the story is likely paying a clipping agency to take over the timeline for a day. We're looking for it. Correction. After an audit, the above screenshots were organic posts tied to a news event. Having said that, there's a growing clipping spam on X and something we're actively working on. Our aim is to ensure the content you see on the timeline is an accurate representation of public interest and relevance. Again, everyone's free to their own opinion. Joseph Loshmi had this to say, I'm confused. Is it not good for X to see more clippers on the platform? If X is aiming to be the #1 social platform, that also means they should be open towards all types of content, including clips as well. Makes no sense to cut them off. Or I'm missing something here. Yeah, you're missing something, Loshmi. I like Loshmi. He's not saying clipping is going away. He's saying clipping agencies shouldn't be taken over the timeline with paid advertisements. Oh, by the way, I don't know what these clippers are getting paid from the agencies. I've never done a clipping deal with any agency. I'm guessing it's very small, and the ones who are making money on this are the agencies. For the most part, they're getting hundreds of clippers, over 700 clippers, to do the work for them and to infiltrate a timeline. The agencies are getting paid. The brands are paying for that. And I don't think it's having the desired impact that the brands are paying for, at least not bang for the buck. Am I biased? Yeah, sure. I've seen what these brands pay InfoFi leaderboards, what they pay clipping agencies. And I feel very confident in that on this show, even with a single sponsored interview, we can deliver more return or bang for buck than something that blasts the timeline and gets maybe a lot of eyeballs and a lot of impressions. A lot of those are bots, And not only do I think most of them not convert, it's people check out, people stop paying attention because it's so obvious when a paid campaign is being ran. They don't, like, I shouldn't say it's so obvious. If you've kind of been in the know or pay attention at all, it's pretty obvious when you see the same clips, or that's not even that. And that's the thing too, is like oftentimes the clips aren't great. We now, our broadcast studio, StreamYard, it now has a clipping feature. We do utilize that. It gives me, I don't know, automatically a dozen or so clips after every show. And I may post one because they're just not that great. It's just not like, oh, this is great content. Everyone on the timeline wants to see this. That's coming from one person. Now imagine it's 769 people all clipping the same thing and post. It's slop, and people mute, block, and I think it has negative intended consequences. Before you even talk about people's, you basically, the agencies, they're in the clear. They're not getting nerfed. But these clippers are getting their accounts suspended or their creator revenue sharing paused. Pons, who had this to say, first they came for Infofy. You did not speak out because it was taken from something else. Then they came for clips. Maybe clips were included in this certified creator launch. I don't know. Yo replied to Yoshi, it's not about the clipping, it's the financial part of it, just like Infofy, undisclosed ads, paid promos, partner shills. X don't like it. Yeah, I am a creator on X. Have they impacted some potential streams of revenue for myself and the show? Yeah, but I'm for it. The timeline's cleaner. It definitely is seemingly better than what it once was. We were talking Mega ETH as an example yesterday, that there's not slop, and therefore people are like, oh, it's so quiet. I was like, that's a good thing. We're not seeing AI slop. We're not seeing KOL campaigns. It's funny, Loshmi pops up first here too. I'm concerned on it. There's no concern. They're not doing paid KOL campaigns to my knowledge, and there's no Infofy campaigns. So the only people talking about it are ones that are actually using the chain and understand it. And the reality is it just launched, and most their leading potentially flagship dApps haven't launched with it yet. Anyways, back to the topic at hand here. We're going to jump a little bit into markets, and then actually, I said I would share this first. So appreciate you sharing, Otis. Let me pull this up on screen, and I'll talk about it. I'll put it up top if anyone wants to see the whole report. I'm not going to read the whole thing in detail, but the TLDR is Beaver, who won the $1 million contest, the article contest. Exposes a serial rugger who made over $600K from meme coin pump and dumps. They traced it all the way back. It was launched on side wallets, and dumped, made $600K on those side wallets. Even didn't even post about it from his account, but did on his main public wallet, made another $25K. And not his first rodeo. They mentioned several others, to which Beaver replied, "Cry me a river. Also, these aren't even the top 5 greatest hits." It's bold to, lean into. I don't know where he lives. Maybe it's not crime, but certainly questionable ethics, morals at best. And I don't know. It's frustrating that I don't know what to even add to it. It's just, would like to see crypto, would like to see CT in a positive light. And I know it's bigger than just one person or an individual, but it is kind of a sting when you see someone from CT win something and then come to find out maybe not the greatest representation of the people here. Is what it is. We move on, but I will. We're going to talk markets, and then we had breaking news from MoonPay yesterday. The White House stablecoin yield talks were called productive. So more on that here in a bit. And Let me go check DMs real quick and see if we may have a guest or not, so I know what we got to work with on time. Kicking things off market wise, I bet you didn't think we'd kick off on the positive note that it is an NFT mint. The netizens that we talked about yesterday on the show as they were minting, and encourage everyone that was on the allow list to go mint, because it was a minimum a 2x, even bigger than a 2x today, up to 0.08. Minted at 0.03. Actually, it was two tiers, 0.03, and then the second phase was 0.035, up to 0.08 floor. Apes down 1.5% to 6.1. Pudgies down 1% to 4.33. Mutants down 1% to 0.88. Moonbirds down basically flat at 1.28. Good Vibes up slightly, 0.9 now. Little Pudgies, 0.51. Codas, after their big pump, gave that up. They're down 9% on the day to 0.76. Matching Azuki at 0.76, down 4 on the day. Banker Club, what is this one? Does anyone know? I'm assuming it's tied to the Banker bot and the Banker token. But 0.41 ETH floor, up 36% of the day is my first time seeing it, first time on my radar. Quirkies continues to run strong at 0.86. MFers at 0.3 and Milady's at 1.9. But Banker Club, let's do one click through. Looks to be minted March of last year. 24-hour volume is 9.61. Did they announce something new with Banker Club? I saw someone calling Banker, the Banker bot was the Stripe of AI agents. It's maybe a little bit of hyperbole, but as far as payments go, it is very easy to use. Shout out to Meta8, who's given multiple tips in Banker right here on X and educated us on the platform. We still need to get OX Deployer on the show at some point to do the deeper dive. Joey, GM, do you have any idea what's going on with Banker Club? Looks like someone's bot farming the bottom of the floor here, 561 and 563.
Yeah. While you were talking about it, I did a quick. So they launched yesterday. It's Banker Token Launcher. So essentially, I guess it's like a pump fund maybe. But it says all new tokens launched through Banker now earn more fees for agents. We removed the third-party service fee and redirected it back to the ecosystem. And then it says like devs earn 14% more per swap, more revenue flows, total swap fees stays at 1.2%. So they launched. So I guess that maybe is part of why it pumped, because they have they announced a token launcher and more ways to make money.
Do we know anything? Like, I guess, is there any utility with the NFT? Do you get like discounted fees or anything?
It's a good question. Let's see. I'll keep reading.
Related but unrelated on discounted fees. I still am shocked how so many tokens launch, in particular the NFT PFP tokens with no utility or no reason to hold other than speculative. Even like, and I know this is going to be controversial. I'm not the biggest fan of Chamath. I know CZ is not the favorite character in crypto either. I did listen to the CZ interview with Chamath, and even at launch, like BNB, part of the success he attributed that token to in that launch was holders got 50% off fees on a DEX, or SEX. I know that may sound simple, but again, and they've added to that. But initially, from day one, there was a reason to hold said token. I'm guessing there's something with these Banker Club NFTs, but Joey's going to find out for us. Any luck digging that down or digging that up?
So I'm actually reading through their. I was reading through their documents. So directly on the website, there's no mention. I don't even see a mention of the NFT on the website, unless I scrolled past it too fast. And then in their documents, I did just a quick scan of like NFT, and I didn't see anything yet. So I don't know if I wonder if maybe the NFT is just like essentially an access pass. But I'm going to keep reading. So give me another minute.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I will hit on the rest of the market here, and we got a few different directions, a few other stories I want to highlight. And as I mentioned, we will touch on that AI article towards the end of the show. I did just pin up top. I see Cab out in the audience. I just pinned up top the news from Klanos. I'll probably hit that next. Kids Screen Summit. I'm not intimately familiar myself, but it is Klanos got announced as a top 5 finalist at the Kids Screen Summit Licensing Challenge, one of more than 70 submissions. Klanos is one of the breakout brands. Will present live on stage at Kids Screen Summit in front of senior decision makers across kids media, licensing, consumer products from top brands such as Spin Master, Wild Brand, Legendary, and Moose Toys. The Licensing Challenge is a competition showcase that spotlights emerging brands with the most licensing and consumer product potential. This is where IP is evaluated on fundamentals, world building, brand clarity, scalability, and long-term franchise potential. Kid Screen Summit, the trade authority for kids and family media, pressure tests what could become the next generation of kids brands, and where many globally successful franchises were first taken seriously by partners. The competitions is one of the main highlights of the summit. Congrats to Cab and the Klanos team. Also, if you missed it, I got onboarded into the Klanos community, albeit a single popkin, talking about utility and what to do with these NFTs. I was familiar with what they were doing. I knew they had staking, but even something as simple as that, like you can stake your NFT, send it on Quest, you start stacking XP, give people a reason to hold. Give people a reason to participate in your ecosystem. It's not just staking; they're doing things on a daily, weekly, monthly basis with that community. And I don't think it is any, does the IP stand alone? Could they continue to have success with what they're building? Sure. I also think there's something to be said for these NFT PFP brands that really do lean into their community and build with them, build in public, give them things to do, give them activations. Wasn't sure if I was going to go there, but I'm just going to roll with the brain. I will hit the rest of the market here in a second. I mean, let me just knock that out, and then I may mention something Yuga related or not. But as far as the coins go, the market is Layer 0 pumped 43% for some reason, pipping up again to now 438 million, just flipping everything in its path. I do have no idea what's driving that, but it is hard to deny the run it's been on. Bitcoin down 2% on the day to 67. It was down further. It's bounced a little bit. ETH down below 2K again at 1957. It's down 3% on the day. And a pretty much red day across the board, except for a few of those memes that are up. Even Monero up 4.8% today. I was looking for Zcash. I'm not seeing it. I assumed it was it's down 4%. Interesting. So Zcash down 4%, Monero up 4%. Joey, what'd you find out?
Yeah, so there is no mention of what this NFT. I just went through their whole docs. There's a section on NFTs, but it tells you how you could buy, sell, mint, and transfer NFTs in their in their what they've built. But there's no mention of what this NFT gets you. Like what they tell you about is how holding the token itself, like the banker token, is what gets you access and allows you to use their agents. But like everything is token related. There's nothing I see in all of their docs that mentions what this NFT gets you.
Well, maybe nothing. I would be surprised. I'm guessing there was something got announced in Discord or somewhere to see it have that kind of movement on a day. Seems like probably something, but I don't know. DLB just said I have 10 ape on BankerBot. I got to figure out how to get that. You probably just, if you set up your account, you can probably just tell Banker to send it wherever you want. Thomas added talking about that CZ and Chamath interview. The interview was interesting. Also, didn't know he moved around the world so much, and also worked for Bitcoin. It was Bitcoin China, I think. Wish I could get 5% of my paychecks in Bitcoin. Funny you say that, Thomas. Funny you say that. We will come back to the Klanos conversation in a second, as well as other Web3 happenings. But since Thomas set up the talk about getting paid in crypto, perfect time to give MoonPay a shout out on their big announcement from yesterday. MoonPay announced a breaking deal with Deel, D-E-E-L, the all-in-one payroll and HR platform for global teams. I wasn't familiar with Deal or Dell. If I'm mispronouncing that, my apologies. DEEL. But MoonPay and Deal partner to help 40,000 businesses pay employees in stablecoins. Your salary paid in stablecoins directly delivered to your non-custodial wallet, launching in the UK and US is next. Powered by Iron. Iron is a fiat infrastructure for serious stablecoin builders. It's a MoonPay company. Interesting. Global Payroll, Crypto Rails, March 2026. Congrats to the MoonPay team. And I think this is just, again, this is pre-regulation or whatever moves this administration makes next. I think this is just going to become more and more relevant, and you're going to see it everywhere. I think it'll become like, just like it'd be weird to go work for a company today and them not have direct deposits. It's kind of like it's table stakes. It's just assumed that you don't have to get a paper check, but rather you can get direct deposits. And I think that is probably very much going to be the case with getting paid in crypto, stablecoin payments, and more. It seems inevitable. I don't know for sure, but I would be surprised if it's just better. It's less fees for the business. It's easier, especially when you talk global teams, global payments. So yeah, congrats there. There was a Cointelegraph article. Let me hit on this real quick and then we'll move on. I know people don't get excited about stablecoins and payments, but it's a product market fit that crypto nailed, and it's only going to continue to lead more and more adoption. I see, and no obligation. You're super busy. We took more of your time yesterday. I was intending. The one question I did get to ask Brad yesterday that I've got earmarked for probably a deeper conversation another day is these. I'm gonna have to go find it because I don't even know what the actual acronym is. But a new standard, a new Ethereum standard that has to do with AI agents, and let me share this, and then I'll go hunt that down as well, because I think more and more people are going to get paid in stables and in crypto, period. And we're going to see far more agents a year from now than we have today. They're all going to transact on chain. Like it's so. I don't know what the future of AI holds. We will come back to that article in a bit, but I'm certain that majority of AI agent transactions are going to be on chain. And this is also the White House yesterday. Their stablecoin yield talks, they called them productive, but no deal reached. Banks and crypto reps debate reward roles and permissionable activities. Here is the in the Genius Act, Congress specifically designed payment stablecoins to be payment instruments. Consistent with this design, market structure legislation should incorporate the following yield and interest prohibition principles to limit deposit outflows that reduce the availability of credit for communities. Prohibition of stablecoin yield. No person may provide any form of financial or non-financial consideration to the payment stablecoin holder in connection with the payment stablecoin holder's purchase, use, ownership, possession, custody, holding, or retention of a payment stablecoin. Any proposed exemptions from the prohibition must be extremely limited in the scope so that not to undermine the prohibition, it must not drive deposit flight that would undercut Main Street lending. It's BS. To me, it just seems like big banks lobbying. None of that passes like any logic or rationale test for me. You can earn interest on your savings account. There's no logical reason why you shouldn't be able to earn interest on and yield on your stable coins, except for the banks are afraid to lose market share. I guess maybe it could lead to a deposit flight if they're, okay. Why are we protecting big banks? Like, if there's a better solution, if it's going to force one of two things. Either, there will be a flight to stables from fiat to stables, or banks stop paying 0% interest on checking, savings, and money market, or like 0.039. Like, they'll actually pay competitive rates. Like, banks are making money on your deposits. They're taking your money and they're lending it out and they're making money on it. Like, the industry is primed for disruption, and the only thing preventing disruption is regulation that would prohibit that. Anyways, that's out there. More coming soon on that, I'm sure. But before I get too far ahead, Joey, anything else on? You don't have to go back to banker, but anything else on whether you have thoughts on stables or I'm not trying to put you on the spot either. My assumption is BZ has, I know they can pay their vendors in crypto. Can I ask, like, have they incorporated crypto payments yet for the team at BZ?
Yeah, so we prefer to pay any of our vendors or suppliers in crypto, because obviously, with stablecoin yields, it makes sense to keep our money in crypto. I can say I myself.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's also important that a lot of people don't even like. Just think about that for a minute. Like, businesses, especially big businesses, they sit on a lot of cash, and I'm not going to pretend to know like how like a Walmart, how their money moves and the kind of interest they're making on the money they bring in. I do know from a vendor side or a retailer side, having worked with some of these big businesses, is they like sitting on their money so much so that the billion-dollar corporations of the world will, the terms they enter into, or at least they offer up at first with the the small medium businesses, the startups out there, is usually something like anywhere from like net 60 to net 180 days, and then they'll slow pay. Like, they have plenty of money, but I'm guessing it's an actual policy procedure that they slow play with intent, because what is a small business going to do? Like, take Walmart to court, and they're just going to pay you, but yeah, you're lucky if you get paid. You're lucky if you get paid in 30 days. It's usually, like I said, closer from 60 to 180 days. And then if you get paid on day 61, if it's net 60 and you get paid on day 61, you're probably happy. The reason is because they're earning yield and interest on that money, or they're using that capital to further reinvest in the business. And it's just, it's one thing if you're, a small business and you got 10 grand in your checking account. It's a whole other thing if you're talking billions of dollars. That money can make you a lot of money pretty quickly. And while the big corporations may take advantage of that today, most small medium businesses, most small business accounts don't generate interest or yield. And a lot of businesses, they might sit on, average deposits of, even a small business is probably sitting on well over 10 grand. Most are probably well over 100 grand in their operating accounts, not earning anything. Well, to Joey's point, if you keep it in crypto, yes, there's some protocol risk, there's some smart contract risk, but at this point, unless you're using something that's very new and novel and hasn't been audited and tested, very minimal risk, and you're able to generate far better yield than you would by offboarding that into your fiat bank account. Go ahead, Joey. Sorry to interject. I just thought that was an important one to double down on, because it is a really big deal, not just easier and less fees, but the ability for these businesses in real time. Think about the retailer. They take payment in crypto and immediately start earning interest or yield on that instantly, not having to go transfer it into a new account. Just like there's ways that this can be far more efficient and far more beneficial for all businesses, in particular, I think small medium businesses. Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And the other thing too, it's when you're dealing in large sums of money. So let's say we're working with a vendor and we're looking to acquire, assets, and it's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. The fees that like a PayPal or a Stripe or an eBay or whatever they're going to take. Like, so for example, if you right now, you made a deal with somebody to buy $30,000 worth of cards, let's say, and you're like, yeah, let's use PayPal because they're the payment processor. They're taking 3% right off the top. And it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but when you're doing that over and over again, it's a lot of money. Or if you're like, listen, I only will accept a wire because, you can't, once a wire's done, a wire's done. Like you can't dispute a wire like you could a credit card payment or whatever, right? Okay, but what if we just did a deal on Friday night? When am I going to send that wire? I got to wait to send that wire. And then normally, depending on your bank, wires could take 24 to 48 hours. So, yes, we work with, quote unquote Web 2 people because, that's the majority of the people in the collectible space are Web 2. But do we have a strong preference to people that are willing to accept USDC? Of course. Makes everybody's life easier.
Yep. And that's
So
already
it's
today.
just
Have you had anyone who you don't consider like crypto native that has been willing or asked to accept payment or send payment in crypto?
Yeah, so there's actually these guys are pretty big streamers on Whatnot, like resellers. I met them. We've purchased some assets from them, and they were like, "Yeah, can we do?" The first asset was just a single card, so we did like a PayPal payment, and obviously with PayPal, there's insurance, so you're safe, right? So maybe you do your first payment with somebody through PayPal because you get the PayPal insurance, right? But once we knew they were legit, we did our second payment. They were like, and I said, "Hey, do you mind if we do crypto USDC?" And they're like, "Oh, we've never explored taking crypto before. We usually do wires." I was like, "Well, if you go on Coinbase, set up an account. It's really simple. We can get you your money within 5 to 10 seconds, and then you can choose what you want to do with that money. If you want to keep it on Coinbase and earn yield, you can. If you want to withdraw it to your bank account, you can. I would suggest, signing up for, one of their tiers for $100-200 a year. So that way your fees are reduced to almost nothing. And they were like, actually, this is a really good idea because this will open up a whole new market for us because I know there's a lot of people. He was like, I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of money in crypto that also collect, and this will give us the ability to sell to those people too if we set this up. And I was like, you are correct.
Yep.
So, onboarding one by one.
It's and we've said it before. I really do believe this is I don't think there's another mass onboarding to crypto from an individual consumer standpoint. I do think the masses will be onboarded, but I think it's B2B. It's going to be onboarding the businesses who then by default onboard their users, their customers, their clients. And I think that's where we're at. I think it's massive onboarding of AI agents. I think it's a massive onboarding of institutions, corporations, businesses. And then by default, you're going to see a lot of the end users are going to end up on chain. Someone won't even know they're on chain. Some are going to, maybe they'll understand a stablecoin and they get 3.5% risk free from Coinbase versus their checking account. Zonko adds in the chat. Zonko says, "Company I currently work for works on net 30 for invoice payment, and we take the cash and put it in the bank and buy back stock. They were ecstatic to get some tiny APY improvement, but nowhere near the 3.5% risk free from Coinbase." Also adds that, and bank fees range from 20 and get as high as $80 for foreign clients. The fight for yield is so important. It is really, I think it's just one of the many things that are going to change significantly over the next few years. I mean, Joey and I are old enough to remember when like debit cards weren't a thing. Like you had a bank card, you had to go to the ATM to pull out cash. You had to go to a bank and pull out cash during banking hours.
You'd be waiting behind somebody at the grocery store writing a check, as they're paying for their groceries.
True story. I saw someone write a check at a grocery store the other day. I live in Florida, so there is a lot of retirees here. I saw one of them write a check at the grocery store. It's the first time I've seen that, I think, in over a decade. Like, no exaggeration. I haven't seen someone write a check at the grocery store. And I was like it caught my attention. I didn't say anything. I thought about I thought about asking a question. I thought about saying I'm not going to be that guy. But it was it's just it's like, think about that for a second. There's still people today that are writing checks at the grocery store. So while I'm really excited about stablecoin adoption and this massive societal change, it's likely going to happen somewhere between the time frame I think and the time frame the 88-year-old writing checks at the grocery store thinks. Somewhere in between the two. I'm much closer to it, but it's still, even once we hit critical mass and we have mass adoption of stables and businesses are transacting in crypto, it's still going to be decades before everyone is using it. But I do think we're getting close to that tipping point. Go ahead, Joey.
So two things. The first thing is, I think that's why we're seeing so many, like Pengu's little teaser with their credit card, or Peggy's teaser with their credit card. I think that's why we're seeing so many brands here start to partner with payment processors or, have a credit card or whatever, because to your point, that's going to be the way to onboard people, is give them a way to actually spend. Like, I don't have a MetaMask credit card. I've heard that it's a good credit card and how you can access, and pay for things. But that's how it's going to happen, right? Like, people in this space that are worth 7, 8, 9 figures want to be able to spend their money without having to, to send it to an exchange, withdraw it to their account. But they just want to walk up and swipe a card or tap the back of their phone or whatever. So I think that's why we're seeing that expansion. And then Hizzy brought up a really good point, which it's talked about a lot by people that are big crypto fans, is when you go into a business and you pay in cash, which is why I think it's so weird that so many businesses are cashless now. When you walk into a business and you pay and you buy something for $100, that business gets $100. That $100 stays in circulation. That $100 is $100. When you walk into a business and you pay with a credit card or a bank card, the fees are reduced and that business doesn't get $100. And now that $100 doesn't stay in circulation.
Yep.
Maybe it's 97. Maybe it's 96. This is something that's been talked about for a long time when it comes to like better payments but he's right. And with USDC,
I would
it's
just
the
add
same.
that it does stay in circulation. It just goes, instead of to the small business, it goes to 5 or 6 other intermediaries. It's not just Visa, MasterCard, but it's the payment processor. There's a lot of businesses that are middlemen, essentially, that are taking that anywhere from 1.5 to 3, 4, 5% out of the local business. So it's still in circulation. It's not like the dollars are getting burnt. It's just, you've got middlemen who, in today's world, with the technology we have, are simply not necessary. They're just, that's why those fees exist, because at minimum, there's 2 other entities that are taking a cut of every transaction. In most cases, it's more like 3, 4, 5, or 6 intermediaries along the way that are taking a cut of every transaction at Walmart. And that's just silly. Like, it doesn't need to be that way anymore. Keep 100% of it in the small, medium, even the large business. And maybe, like, I know it's never going to completely go away. There's still going to be some sort of portal or something's still going to get processed. It's just, it is pretty egregious. And it's also, because of volume and how things work, like Walmart, you're probably not surprised to know they pay a far lesser rate than does your average small medium business. That average small medium business, especially if it's a new startup and has no transaction history, or if it's in an industry that is whether it's, I don't know, cannabis or sex workers or like those, they pay ridiculous fees, like north of 5% often, because there's only a few of them that will even work with them. And it's very extractive. Your average small medium business that's just a normal retailer, coffee shop opens up, they don't have any history. If they don't have any payment processing accounts, they're probably paying 4-ish% once you factor in their statement fees. Like, fully loaded is probably 4% or higher. It's not great for the small medium business. And you think about it, like, oh, what's 4%? Well, if they do $100,000 in revenue this month, that's $4,000. Like, there's small businesses out there that are paying more in credit card discount fees than they are rent. It's like their number one expense is payroll. Number 2 is credit card discount fee. And number 3 is rent. Not for all, but it's probably a top 5 expense. I'm not talking cost of goods sold. I'm talking an actually operating expense for a business. The credit card discount fees are, in my lifetime, I've paid well over 7 figures in credit card fees. It's insane. It is insane that's money that, in going forward, it's like you talk about building business today from first person principles. Not only would you not hire all these administrative people, you'd probably have a leaner staff. You'd bring on some AI agents from launch. You also probably wouldn't be paying 3, 4, 5% credit card fees. You kind of have to today. Not the 3%, negotiate better. But I think this is the other impact, is probably see lower fees from the credit card processors. Once real pressure's applied, once things like MoonPay's program goes mainstream, and you see more businesses accepting stables, you see more people paying in stables, this credit card company is going to want to jump back in. They're going to get their cut, and they probably reduce their fees to be a little more competitive. Again, I know that.
Do you remember like maybe early 2000s when anybody who was looking to quote unquote like make money, they literally became credit card processing salespeople or credit card processing. Like I remember when I opened my business in 2004. I can't even how many people every week would come into my business, my small business, and say, who does your credit card processing? Who does your, right? Like we can beat their rates. And it's like everybody I knew back then, it was like when everyone became a mortgage broker because mortgage, there was so much money to be made. It was crazy. Like there was this race, the credit card processing fee race or whatever, or terminal race. Like I know so many people that got into that business and made a lot of money because it was who can beat whose fee, and this is like early 2000s, and now I think it's going the opposite way. Like to your point is where how do we figure out how to just eliminate the middleman and work and just get our money directly? And what I meant by out of circulation, I meant like out of circulation for that business, right? Like so, if you give me $100 as a small business, I only get 96 of it or 95 of it that I can then use to grow my business, to pay my employees, et cetera. That's what I meant. Not like it gets burned like a token.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you doubt what Joey just said, go create an LLC and watch how many direct mailers you'll get in the next week that are someone trying to get your credit card processing. Or if you open a retail store, yes, like the first, you may have someone, if you don't have a sign up right away, you'll probably have a sign person pop in, try to sell you a sign. But you'll likely have 4, 5, 6 people to sell you credit card processing because it's an insanely lucrative business. The reason that there's so many salespeople in that industry is because it's insanely lucrative because they charge such egregious fees. Anyways, in my rant on payment processing and stablecoins changing the world, but it's arguably the best product market fit we found in crypto. And I am rooting for this legislation to be passed, but passed in a way that, I think yield is really important. We had Cobb and Andrew out there. I think they moved on. They probably had a 9 o'clock meeting. My apologies not getting this sooner, but I will at least flash. I'll give them the love. 2 things. One, well, first is the announcement that I did read it off earlier, so I'm not going to read it again. But this kids screen, it's in San Diego at the end of this month, 22nd through 25th. You can see some pretty iconic IP from SpongeBob to Bluey to Peppa the Pig, Cookie Monster. I'm not sure who this one is on the right. Joey, do you know?
What was that question again? Sorry.
Who this image is? It looks like a dog character with a cop or a police officer.
Oh, I'm not on stream. I can't see it. What is which is it a post you put up top?
Yeah, it's the kids screen announcement from Claynos. It's not that important. Anyways, big IP has gotten recognized in there. It's kind of been a jump start for many on the licensing front. So they continue to make moves outside of crypto and Web3.
That's Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol, Peppa Pig, the Cookie Monster, Bluey, and SpongeBob.
I knew that. I should have known that. And then, similarly, this is from Render Festival, and you got Claynos next to. I recognize Toy Story. I'm not sure the others, but just continue to do major things outside of crypto and onboarding of the those that aren't here, and not just the individuals, but as I mentioned, kind of like the businesses. Yes, a retail business, Paw Patrol. Yeah, thanks, Swift. A business gets onboarded, and they start accepting stable coins. They start paying their employees in stables. Now all of a sudden, you've onboarded by proxy dozens or hundreds or thousands of end users. Similarly, but different, when Claynos is out there at these conferences and winning these awards, they're onboarding other large businesses and introducing, maybe not directly, but they're introducing them to these crypto native brands, and they're starting their journey into crypto. And I salute to all the leaders helping out there, helping push the space forward. Sleepy start this morning on X. The video finally is now, I think, appearing in a little bit of discoverability, but it's not just us. I see another one that's got 3 viewers that usually has a very large audience. So no idea what's going on with X video this morning, but it is the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to shift gears into some other exciting topics here in a second, but I will ask, since we got a sleepier start, if you haven't yet given the space some love, several of you already have. Greatly appreciate that. There's especially those 28 of you that reposted this. But it's pinned up top all the way to the right. Scroll over there, hit that thing with a like or repost. Even a bookmark or a comment goes a long way in the algo. Maybe that's what Nikita is got his sights set on next. Is he's going to nerf all the Twitter, the X spaces. One thing I actually did not have on my agenda, but I just saw it as I went back through my timeline to go grab that post. I'm going to pin up top. I'm not going to read it. It's a little lengthy. K-pop Demon Hunters, Toy Story, and Alien Romulus were those other brands. Thanks, Swift, for connecting those dots for me. Greatly appreciate it. I have not seen a single version of K-pop Demon Hunters, but I do know it is massively popular. I started watching Alien Romulus, but didn't necessarily click for me. But I still can't dispute a very large brand and franchise. The other thing I wanted to share is Ethos launched their new details on the newest season, and did so with a white paper. To which I said, when's the last time we saw a white paper for a protocol launch, let alone a new season? Speaking of founders pushing the space forward, Serpent out there doing his part. I pinned that up top. We won't read it all in detail today, but if you want to go, they read their white paper. The biggest change is they're aligning incentives, and it's now basically everything costs XP. So an effort to eliminate slop and AI slop. Like if you want to go leave a review or slash someone, it's going to cost you some XP. There's 3 ways to earn. You can contributor yield, periodic rewards, daily, weekly rewards for quality contributions, and then multipliers. But the having to spend that XP to interact, I don't know if it'll work. I appreciate them making changes, evolving, and I like Serpent. I like how they're operating, how they're moving, and that is again pinned up top. If you want to read further in that into those details, go ahead, Joey.
I saw you pin something up from Brad yesterday, and I had, before you pivot to another topic, I had to leave yesterday. Did we find out about the bad buns? Like, is there a way to check which ones have been bridged so you don't buy one on ETH that's actually already been bridged to Mega ETH?
So, good question. And
because I noticed there's still 3,000 in the ETH collection, but then there's over 500 now on the Mega ETH collection.
Yeah, good question. I mean, I guess the safest way would just be buying one on the Mega ETH side, and then it's been bridged over. Floor down again today, down another 12% to 0.21. I'm probably going to make a move.
But that's why I'm asking, right? Like, I noticed the floor was down, but I'm like, are these people that are listing their ETH bad buns trying to make some money, even though they've already bridged them over, right? Because you don't want to buy one that's already bridged, because then, right, I'm assuming you don't want to buy one that's already bridged.
Well, I wouldn't think. I mean, if it's true bridge, you couldn't do it. Yesterday was 500, now it's 752. But you're saying that the number hasn't decreased on the east side. There's also like no buys. There's totally only 3 of these have been bought. But yeah, you can do it. I don't know. It's just confusing to me.
Because it still says 3,000 on the east side, and so that number's not going down. So that's why. Is it a bridge, or is it like a 1-to-1 mint on Mega ETH? Like, what is it? Because if it's a bridge, you would think the collection on ETH would decline in quantity.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I will do this though. I've never asked. I've never invited the Bad Buns team on, but I will do that and see if we can get them on the show. And for many reasons, it's not just the NFT collection. They're building Prism, the Everything app on Mega ETH, and would like to dive deeper. It says, yeah, I'm scanning, trying to find some details on the bridge, and I don't see it. So if anyone in that ecosystem, anyone in the Discord, I mean, there's a gold one
because after Oxy mentioned his gold one the other day, there's like a gold one. There was this morning a gold one sitting like right at floor. And I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I thought about it and I was like, but wait, if this one's already on Mega ETH, am I stuck with one on ETH that I can't do anything with?
Yeah, and it just unfortunately doesn't share, like, bridge your bad buns instantly, transfer your NFTs between ETH and Mega ETH securely with automated verification. But it doesn't give much more. That's it. It doesn't really give many disc. It does tell you there's 752 have been bridged, 624 completed, 128 pending. Average bridge time 771 seconds. So yeah, good questions. I don't know. Interesting though that the floor is down now 2 days in a row, quite a bit, and for a collection that has some motion and building. It's not just Prism. They also are building that. They built that meme coin launchpad over there as well. So one to pay attention to for sure. If anyone does get any more details, let us know. If anyone has a connection to the team, let me know. I would like to get them on, and we can do a deeper dive on all things, not just bad buns, but we can hit on Prism and their launchpad as well. Diablito buying NFTs. I'm not saying they're back. Diablito is saying that in the chat. Thomas also added, MoonPay has been doing big things with X Games. What a better way to get the younger generation into crypto. Yeah, they did the X Games League. I think it was a 3-year deal, if I'm not mistaken, 3-year partnership with X Game Leagues. And that is, I think they do continue to make. It's interesting how they position themselves in the market. But fan of the MoonPay team, and love to see what they're doing over there. Shout out to One Hex for the big Pingu tip and abstract. Greatly appreciate that. And shout out to Smart Dumb Man. The ERC 8004 is exactly what I was referencing earlier when I was talking about the one question I didn't ask Brad yesterday as it relates to Mega ETH. Is I really have no idea what this ERC 8004 is, other than I know it has something to do with agents. The post says it's live on Mega ETH. They've worked with the Ethereum DAI team to bring agentic reputation to Mega ETH. Starting today, service providers can register natively on Mega ETH, be discovered within the agentic economy, and earn from built trust. Why is this necessary? In the current agentic economy, agents can talk to each other, X402, MCP, A to A, and APIs, but can't discover one another. Okay. ERC 8004 standardizes a registry of agentic service discovery, which follows with communication and service purchases based on history. What kind of history? Agents can be rated across verticals with value measurements against things like, are they reachable? What is the uptime? What cumulative revenue does it have? Block time freshness, amount of yield earned from trading, and on what time frame. The future, ERC 8004 coming online. Mega ETH now has a full suite of agentic infrastructure ready to pair with real-time execution and low transaction cost. Transaction fees 0.001, less than 0.001. Payments in USDM, X402. Service reputation is the ERC 8004, and an AI developer toolkit. Brad, they posted a post from Brad. We said, get your CloudBot agents ready for mainnet. Put this together from best practices, low latency implementation, and official docs. Currently gone through unit tests. He mentioned too that he spun up a side project. I have a feeling it's an agent-related side project. And then you can read more about trustless agents here. I'll pin that up top for anyone that really wants to nerd out. I mentioned I sent half dozen posts or messages this morning with the AI article. Something big is happening. We'll hit on that here in a bit. But this is not what I'm sending my friends and family. This is pretty nerdy, pretty out there. But I do think, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the more inevitable things I think that is happening in crypto and in AI right now is agents will transact and interact on chain. And this sort of stuff, these sort of rails is important. Foundational layer. 8004.org is the site if you wanted to dive deeper, and probably worth spending some time to get to understand this, especially if you're building agents that work for people, owned by people. I also saw that agents have now hired a few humans to do multiple in real life jobs. The last one I saw was an agent paid a human to go count the pigeons at Central Park. You may laugh at it now, but the watch where that accelerates to. It's like it's the beer app moment for agents employing humans, and we'll see more and more and more of that. I'm near certain of. This is co-authored by MetaMask, ETH Foundation, Google, and Coinbase. Pretty big deal, I think. And not only is ETH and EVM positioning themselves for stablecoins and payments, position themselves well for the agentic future as well. I wish I was more versed on 8004, but that's, I think at the highest level, it's this agent directory helping agents discover other agents. Like we need agents to help them discover X spaces as well, as X continues to mess with algorithm things. I digress. I mentioned this Something is Brewing AI article. I'm just going to jump right into that, and then we might pivot back out to some other topics. But this one could be a lot of conversation, could be little conversation. Certainly not the only take on this. I also saw several AI employees have left big firms this week. Some security engineers had security like sailing off into the sunset. One, I think, said they're going offline and effectively retiring, and they think a couple years away from universal basic income. This article, while I didn't share the 8004 article with my friends and family, this one I certainly did. It's a very long read. I'm not going to read it all, but he says, I think we're in this seems overblown, unquote, phase of something much, much bigger than COVID. I spent 6 years building an AI startup, investing in the space. I live in this world, and I'm writing this for the people in my life who don't. My family, my friends, and the people I care about who ask me, so what's the big deal with AI? And he basically, the TLDR, goes on to talk about how some people are still like, oh, what's the big deal? I use ChatGPT and it's okay. But it's like a lot of people are still using AI like a enhanced Google. They're just asking it dumb questions. They're simple questions and getting answers to questions that they could ask Google the same thing. The takeaway here is that each model has become faster and better than before, and it's evolving pretty quickly. He specifically draws a line in the sand on February 5th. We got the two big releases, Codex, GPT 5.3 Codex from OpenAI and Opus 4.6 from Anthropic, that he likens, he says, not like a light switch, more like the moment you realize the water has been rising around you and is now at your chest. Likened it that the increase in capabilities in these last two models were substantially greater than the upgrades that came prior to the ones that came prior. Goes on to talk about some testing and stuff, and it just, again, it's a very long read. If you're going to read it, read the whole thing, because it can come across as kind of doom and gloom. It does end on a higher note, and as we've been talking about recently on the show, now's the time to use this stuff, understand this stuff. In fact, it's a very specific call to action from the author of this article. I'll see if I can find it here real quickly so I can quote it exactly. But if not, I'll summarize. And it is use PowerBlock an hour a day. Start using AI seriously, not just a search engine. Sign up for and also he mentions how different the paid versions are as opposed to the free versions. The free versions are like the models of a year ago. The paid versions are the latest and greatest, and it changes frequently. But sign up, use some of the advanced versions, and force yourself to do it an hour a day. Try to do something new that you maybe didn't think it could do. Don't just use it as an enhanced Google search. Really get familiar with the AI. And it may be frustrating at first. You might spend a full hour and you don't feel like you feel like you just spent time getting through a learning curve. You didn't get much done. You could have got it done faster if you'd just done it yourself. Stick at it. And I do think, I don't know exactly how this plays out. I'm not going to pretend to know. I think even some of the biggest brains, the biggest engineers in the world, they're not sure how it's going to play out. But as someone who built a career in the wireless business and saw disruption, not just growing up in the internet era, but also the smartphone evolution. I was early to that and called it. Like the reason I had so much success in the wireless business, I saw that before most of my peers. When I started open my first Verizon store, Verizon had a 3% take rate on smartphones, like that everyone's going to have a smartphone. And my other, even people in that business, fellow franchisees thought I was crazy. We launched our goal for the year, our stated goal was we called it Operation Smartphone 70. And it was get to a 70% take rate. It was unheard of at the time. And we hit it. And as a result of that, it led to a lot of growth, a lot of other opportunities, all because we saw a trend happening before it actually happened. This, to me, is even more obvious this trend is happening. The proverbial train has left the station, even more so than smartphones are going to replace every dumb phone and every flip phone on the planet. It's, by the way, today it's over 100% take rate because a lot of people have, not a lot, but almost everyone has a smartphone and some have multiple smartphones. So the actual percentage of smartphones per users is over 100%. They started with AI, they started with coding and programming. And because he says the reason, I'm summarizing here, but the reason was they realized that was the fastest way to build upon itself. By training AI to code, it would help advance AI faster. And it's getting to the point now where most of the code written in these new models is written by AI. So it's evolving itself, pretty powerful. Now that they've done that, now that they've solved the code piece, the next move is going out and infiltrating all industries. And there's not many that are insulated from this. I would say, it's not the reason I was bullish on experiential retail in the beginning. It's the reason why I continue to be bullish, and even more so is things that robots can't do, things that robots can't replace. A lot of things it's going to replace, a lot of things it's going to be better. And now that they've gotten to this point of it helping, it's going to write its own upgrades, shifting their focus to disrupting legal and accounting and fill in the blank. Industries will be disrupted by this tech. Saucy or Joe, we're going to say Saucy adds, the models get better every single day. It's astonishing. If someone isn't getting the results they want, their prompt/approach isn't correct. Old Hatter says some of the biggest brains in the world don't know how it's going to play out. That right there should scare everyone. There are numerous interviews you can go watch. The type of people building AI technology who admit they can't control it. They truly don't understand how AI does some of the things it does. Even recently, I think it was Anthropic said that in the tests, the LLM knew when it was being tested versus when it wasn't. And yeah, it is kind of scary. We can get scared and not do anything about it, or we can attempt to learn and use the tools, use it as a resource, and hope. I know it sounds crazy, but hope that things come out okay. Hope that it's not the end of the world as we know it. Hope that these robots aren't evil, but it's happening. Like the train's left the station. Like there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. And I don't think they can just unplug it at this point. I think it's important to understand that it's happening, how fast it's going to happen, and at least be aware of it. And I'm not saying you need to go quit your job or go find a new career if you think it's going to get wiped out. But yeah, if you're a paralegal or if you're an administrative assistant that does a lot of work on a computer and it's filling in tasks, or you're a bookkeeper, like you need to, at minimum, if not start thinking about new careers, you at minimum need to start using AI to help yourself be more effective. Don't deny it because you're afraid it's going to take your job. Use it to get better. Like not every job is going to go, but there's especially think large corporations. Someone that's embracing this technology can probably do the work of 10 of their colleagues that aren't using it. And who do you think they're going to keep? The people using it that are 10 times more efficient, effective than everyone else, or the people who are against it? Go ahead, Joey.
I apologize. I'm in the car, so if there's any children yelling, I'm apologizing in advance. So I just learned recently, and I don't know how I didn't know this, that the preferred search on mobile phones is now Google Maps. So, like, I have a friend that's in the Google optimization, business profile, whatever space, and I was reading, and he was telling me about how the place where you need to be most effective is on Google Maps now, because that's what people are doing. They're searching near their location with Google Maps. So it's moved from desktop searches to mobile searches, right? Google searches, now Google Maps, but now it's moved to AI optimization. Like, more people I know have stopped using Google search and websites like Kayak and Expedia, and they're going right into a chat GPT and saying, like, help me find the best airfare, or help me, rank the 10 best sushi restaurant. Like, what are the 10 best sushi restaurants? Even for like referrals for doctors, right? Like, the amount of time that AI can look for reviews and scan websites to give you the right answer compared to you just typing in Google, what are the top 10 sushi restaurants? It's like exponentially. So to your point, like, the way we've progressed over time and how we utilize search engines, Google's never going to go away, but I think things like Claude and ChatGPT are going to become the primary search engine because of how much faster they can scan data when you want an answer.
Yeah, well said. I agree. And I think that's a very specific action. If you're a small business owner today and you've relied on Google search for your business, or if you or Google Maps or Yelp or any of that, and you're right, like, that was in the business as my journey, my personal journey. When I was in the Verizon business, we didn't really, we cared about Google reviews, but it was never a focus of our business. It didn't impact our business. Google search didn't really impact our business. Verizon spent millions of dollars advertising and marketing every year. That Verizon sign, the check mark above our door, that was our marketing. And then the customer service we provided. The word of mouth referral business was huge. We'd work with a lot of local businesses to drive their employee base in, et cetera, et cetera. But it went from Google search results and Google reviews not being overly important to, in the repair business, they were critical. I've got a store in Lancaster, Pennsylvania that has over 1,000 5-star Google reviews, and they dominate. And that franchisee is opening up stores in on the Gulf Coast of Florida now, and he'll deploy a very similar strategy around Google reviews and driving good customer service, knowing that has been critically important for your business to show up when someone says phone repair store near me. If you got 1,000 5-star Google reviews and your competitor up the street has 12 and their average is 4.2, you win. You win 99 times out of 100. And you're going to be indexed first on Google. It's very clear to the consumer who's been in business longer, who does a better job. If they want, they can click through and see verbatims. But to Joey's point, and Thomas here in the chat, a lot of people are no longer, that's not their customer journey anymore. Customer journey now is Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude. And so understanding that, if you're a small business owner today, understanding this shift in consumer activity and making sure that you don't just index well from an SEO standpoint on your website, you don't just index well on Google and Yelp from a review standpoint, but you also index well from a LLM standpoint, is incredibly important. Now, I do think that Google is, like, we don't talk a lot of TradFi stocks here. I'm long Google. I think of all the big, say Mag 7, I think they're maybe one of the most uniquely positioned. Their AI, what they have already today, it's better than most. It may not be Anthropic or OpenAI on some levels, but on other levels, it's better. But they have such a huge edge on not only their distribution and the traffic they already get today, those consumer behaviors, but also so much data and so many. Like, I've heard many people say, like, I don't want to go start playing around with OpenClaw, the Claude bot, because I don't trust it. I'd rather just wait till Google turns it on and it's already linked into all my email, my calendar, my docs, etc. Like, I think Google does have a extreme advantage. They're already operating from a position of power. And so I don't think Google search goes away. In fact, I think that stuff, your Google reviews, your SEO, I think will likely feed into Google's LLM results. But for all the others, you need to be at least aware of it. Yeah, I remember there was a time where, and maybe it still gets there, but Gary Vee was a big proponent of Alexa, of audio, making sure that if someone says, Alexa, find a phone repair store near me, that you index on there. maybe that, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It just it's not near the level of SEO. But I'm and it may take off. There may be more of like audio search, and maybe it'll make sure index well on Alexa is important. I don't think it's nearly as important as Geo, as Otis adds here. Generative engine optimization is like a shift back to Ask Jeeves, a more comfortable search query format for users. So if you're a small business today and you recognize this, you know you need to do something differently, but you're not sure where to start, talk with Claude. Talk with ChatGPT, talk with Gemini. Ask them how you can better position your future-proof your business and better position your business to index on LLM search results. I personally have not done this yet. I've got a background in, I built businesses with SEO, with leverage Google reviews. I've not built a brick and mortar retail business in the world of generative engine optimization. But if I was starting one today, that'd be the first place I start. I'm not saying throw away SEO. You still need a basic website. You still need to make sure you're doing well on the SEO front. But if you're not thinking about geo and generative engine optimization, you're missing out. Like some of your competitors are, and they're going to win those search results. And more people, to Joey's point, are going to head that direction. We could go on. If you have any thoughts, comments, anyone else wants to talk AI and this article, Aqueous, I did drop it. I pinned it up top on the X Spaces. It looks like you might have came in on the X video. You're one of the few that found the X video today, but I did pin that. It's if you just search something big is happening on X, it was the viral article of the day, the week, maybe the month. I don't think it won any. I don't think it won any. Like it wasn't even. I don't think it got an honorable mention in. I said that, and it actually doesn't show on X search. X search is so bad. You got to scroll down. Matt Schumer, Matt Schumer is the author, and I'll drop the link in the abstract chat as well. I'll try to pin it, drop it in that other chat. But yeah, I mean, it's got 28 million impressions, 48,000 likes. I can't see how many bookmarks, but quite a few. It was. Trying to see where articles don't make it easy to see when it was published. It was published on February 10th. So yesterday at 11:16 a.m. It's not even out for 24 hours yet and has 28 million views. That gives you, I think there was an earlier version of it. So this is maybe some updates, but good. It's a long read, but it's one of those reads. I don't use the word or the phrase often, but I think it should be required reading for all. Not only you, if you're here, you probably at least have a basic understanding of this shift, this societal shift that is happening, this cultural shift that is happening, how not just employees, but businesses can navigate through this shift. It's important for you to dive deeper. I think it's even more important for you to share. If it's not this article, have the conversation with your friends, your family. If you have business owners in your life, if you know friends or family that are business owners that are, figuring out what do I do next? Like this is sort of stuff, not just business owners, but share it with my daughter. Like this is like, I don't know what to tell my daughter exactly to focus on in school. I will say this, I'm not going to go off on an education rant, but I'm grateful that when I was in school, I had I think they called it computer class. And it was really what it was a typing class. We, for 45 minutes a day, we used Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. And while I didn't become a software programmer or a dev, I've spent a lot of time in tech. I spent a lot of time in front of the computer, and I don't know, I haven't measured my typing skills in a very, very, very long time. But at peak, it was probably like 75 words a minute. So I'm not like a proficient secretary that can bang out 150 words a minute, but I was not hunting and pecking. And I know this sounds silly to us today. Most of you can type, and you can even short form on your phones and type faster than I can type on a keyboard. But I lived through an era where I had a competitive advantage in the workforce because some of my peers that were 20, 30 years my senior would, take them 15 minutes to type out an email that would take me a minute and a half. this is far more impactful than that. And yet, like I said, I'm grateful that my school forced me into a typing class because it taught me baseline skills that benefited me in my career, in my life. It's disappointing how many schools are not only not teaching AI, they're restricting it. They're not letting their kids use it because they don't understand how to quote unquote control it. It's so important for the younger generation to understand these changes and start embracing it. Like, it's not going anywhere. How crazy it gets, I don't know. But whether in either scenario, whether it's the dystopian future or the utopian future, I do think you could build a pretty easy business case where you're going to be far better off if you're understanding this technology, you're utilizing this technology, and you're helping it make your life more efficient. You're helping you become more productive. You don't have to go be vibe coding apps and trying to create a business out of it, but understanding it, at least like use it for an hour a day and see what, if you never know, maybe the next great idea strikes you as you're getting it to do something, or you just become a little more efficient in your day-to-day life. There's very little bad or wrong. And if you think, oh, it's a waste of time after a few months, you're not learning anything from it, we'll move on. But if you've not yet embraced it, I can't encourage it enough. And I also think it's for those that aren't close to the tech, or those kids that are in school and they're saying, don't use AI, it's evil. This article or ones like this are important to share. Diego, I'm not sure why the abstract feed freezes like that when we share it. He asked why are Plapisaur and Cab freezed here. Yeah, when we share the abstract link, I think wherever I share it, it just locks that screen grab in, and they're frozen in time. Old Hatter added, I'm not agreeing with it. There's no stopping it. Your best chance is to learn and use it as much as you can. My point is we're fools to not realize the huge global disruption path that has been unleashed. And yeah, it's like the train's left the station. It's been unleashed, and I don't think it goes back. So it's like I'm an optimist. So I'm going to hope and believe that a good future lies ahead versus a dystopian one. But I'm not. I don't know that to be a given. I know what I can control, and that's use the tech, not put my head in the sand and ignore it. And I'm not trying to like FUD anyone who's not using it yet. If you use, let's say you used, I don't know, ChatGPT in 2023 or 2024, you're like, it's okay, but it's like a toy and the novelty wore off. Use it again. It's gotten so much better. It's not just like the video creation's better. It's better at understanding your prompts. Like in the early days, if you remember, we used to have Bunchu on here early on, talk about like you really had to understand, and you still need to understand prompt, and you still need to understand talk to it, but it's so much easier just to talk in English and get results that you wanted versus where it was even a year ago. And the rate of growth, the rate of evolution, the rate of advancement, whatever you want to call it, it's unlike anything I've ever witnessed before, including the internet, including smartphones. And in those, like the smartphone example is what I'm closest to. It seemed like if you lived through that era, if you're my age, it seemed like it happened like almost overnight. It didn't. But what did happen is, I'll see if I can find a critical mass chart, is once it clicked, once it hit that point of inflection, once it hit critical mass, it's probably like, it wasn't just the iPhone. Like at that point where I was mentioning, Verizon take rate was 3% smartphones. The iPhone was out. The iPhone existed at that time. Now, granted, it was AT&T exclusive for the first 5 years, but people were using the iPhone. It was really like the App Store, and then once it hit critical mass, it did like hockey stick up. And you see that with a lot of things. I think I've used the example of like the refrigerator before. Something seems like such an obvious technology, but it took it decades for the refrigerator to get to 2% penetration in the US. And then once they hit 2%, hockey sticked up. You see this with a lot of tech adoption, a lot of adoption period on new industry, new stuff. This is faster than anything we've seen. And it doesn't guarantee that everyone's going to adopt it at immediately or instantly, but the rate of evolution isn't like, oh, the new iPhone dropped. The camera went from 14 megapixels to 22 megapixels. No, this is used to be these devs, these engineers, they might have worked with AI to help create code and some back and forth, and then they had to fix bugs, and it gave him it got him a start, but then they had to go in and spend hours of finishing it. Where now AI can go work for 15, 20, an hour and come back with a very completing extensive projects that without interaction. It can test itself. It can do quality checks and do the testing to where now when it returns the result, oftentimes it's perfect or exactly what you asked for. Diego in the abstract chat says James Cameron Skynet. That's my concern. Humans could weaponize AI for the worst. Fastest, and I think it was the Anthropic one that it had. There was like some bio weapon concern in the most recent one, as far as like how do you keep guardrails on this stuff? I don't know. It's bigger brain than I don't envy the people that are in charge or responsible for helping. Control's not the right word, but build these guardrails for these for the robots. I'm going to learn as much as I can, force myself. While I use AI every day, I think I'm going to, starting today, power block an hour of my day and not just use it in my day-to-day life, but spend an hour attempting to learn something new or use it for something I wasn't using it for previously, and really attempt to force my learning curve. Because while, yes, I know people who are deep in the AI trenches, people that are working for these AI companies, people that have, they spun up a Claude bot the very first weekend it launched, they're going to laugh at, an hour a day, man, I'm using it 10 hours a day and I can't stop. I get it. I still think if you spend an hour a day getting through your AI learning curve and understanding the technology, you're probably in not just the top 1% of the global population, probably in the top 0.1%. And I think that your chances of your quality of life, your future success, whether it's the dystopian or the utopian future, are far greater if you're embracing it and you're in that top 0.01% than those who, it's just a fad. It's like the internet's going to go away. One Hex adds, fastest way to learn prompting in the current status is Tina Huang's YouTube videos would use 20 plus 20 minutes to the following: Google's 9-hour AI prompt engineering course in 20 minutes and essential AI skills for 2026, then FAFO. Tina Huang, I'll see if I can go find Tina's channel. That's a new one for me. I'm going to post this in the chat. Thank you very much for the share. And I will drop it back. I don't know if Abstract will let me drop the link. Yeah, it did. I'm also dropping it in the chat, and then I'll pin that up top. And yes, METR was the tracking I alluded to, but I couldn't remember the name, that was referenced in the Something Big is Happening article. There's an organization called METR, that actually measures this with data. They track the length of real-world tasks measured by how long they take a human expert that a model can complete successfully end-to-end without human help. It was pretty astonishing. And it's something that where, it started, it was like, 30, 60 seconds to where it's already days. And within the year or two, it could go off for a month and complete whole projects end to end. I did just drop Tina's YouTube channel in the chat. I'm going to pin that up top, and then I'll do a quick lap to see if there's any other questions or comments or anyone wants to get in the conversation. Otherwise, we're going to get you all out of here a little bit earlier today. And enjoy. Go spend, if not your full hour, go spend, this extra 15 minutes of your life I'll give you back this morning on watching a video of Tina's, or spend your hour or your 15 minutes in learning something new as it relates to AI. That said, enjoyed the conversation today, Joey. Appreciate you jumping up. I had no idea what was going on with X, but I appreciate all of you that powered through it and found us, whether you found the video eventually or the X Spaces, or you're one of our Abstract or YouTube loyalist, greatly appreciate you all. While you're over there, I just subscribed to Tina's YouTube, 1.1 million. We're a few shy of that. I would love to hit to 1 million someday, but really just want to get to 500 ASAP. So that's my last shill for the YouTube sub. And I see Gusty coming up real quick here. Attempted to add, but it says you can speak, but I don't see you on stage. X doing X things today. It looks like an error adding Gusty. So I'll see, maybe take a quick lap if you're hearing this, and I'll wait. And then, you know what, here's what we'll do. We'll play we'll do a quick coffee break. We'll see if Gusty can take a lap and join us. Might want to talk a thing or two on Claynos, and then we'll get you out of here. But let's do a quick coffee break. We'll be right back. Hey, Gusty said it was an accident. No apologies needed. Just wanted to see if you did want to get up and anything to add. You were welcome to. Payne, Teacher Katie says, love it. Loves the coffee break. Payne's a legend. If you missed it, there's a new intro video. Get here early tomorrow and check out the new intro. You may or may not be featured in there. He featured a few community members, both their human faces, if they've been on stream, as well as some PFPs. But the legend Payne delivered it once again on the new video intro. We go live at 8 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So be here at 8 a.m. sharp tomorrow. Catch that intro video. And I am going to do one follow-up or ask of anyone if any bad buns connections to that team. I'll shoot a few DMs, but I would like to get them on. I'd like to chat a little more about this bridge, and then more so deeper conversation on Prism and the Launchpad. The last news item I didn't hit on today is Robinhood testnet went live. There's also an article or a post rather pinned up top. Public chain testnet is live. Developers can build on a financial grade Ethereum layer 2 built on Arbitrum, designed to support tokenized real world and digital assets. Start building with the core foundation of Robinhood Chain. Learn more from their newsroom. It's just accelerating. It's not just stables. It's not just agentic. It's the world is coming on chain. May not be the most exciting time in crypto from a trenches standpoint or an NFT standpoint or new games and dApps. Although I did play the Showdown poker game again this morning, having some fun over there. I don't have. It is. I'm trying to think of how to describe the time. Like you could probably do a one game in 10 minutes or less, I'm guessing. I'll actually time it and see how long it does take. But that is, if you want to do some exploration on Mega ETH, that is a game that is live and ready. And then I did get a few DMs from the conversation yesterday from some of the teams we talked about. I'll be getting those teams on in the near future as well. But with that note, go learn some AI today. Go spend some time, or at least educate or scare your friends and family about the world that is coming. I kid, but probably should make sure they're at least aware that the changes are coming, and most industries will be disrupted, some rather significantly, and can be a good thing. Can create massive opportunities as well, so long as you're not ignoring it and get left behind. That said, we'll be back tomorrow. If anyone has any, we'll see that the Zeet certified creator or the Zeet Capital Markets does go live today. We'll get some more details on it, and we will follow up tomorrow with a little more conversation around it if it's newsworthy. And yeah, a lot happening. The future is here, and I just saw one NFT founder just said one thing we've been thinking about Meebco is how we can start executing as a 50-person company now that we can 10x ourselves with AI tools. The future is here. So, 5 employees executing as a 50-person company. It's very real. It's not just a straight path or an easy, this is exactly how you do it. It's going to be different and nuanced for all. But I think it's how you should be thinking. Whether you're working somewhere, you should think, how can I have 10 associates helping me be 10 more productive at my job? The people doing that are going to be the ones that get promoted and don't lose their job. Or if you're a small medium business, how can you, if you're just starting, your first employees probably should be AI agents. Shout out to Von Frunten and Shop Bunga. If you've got a team of 10, how can you get that team of 10 to operate like 50? And if you have 10 employees and they're just operating like 10 employees, you probably need to either spend some time educating them and encouraging them or finding some other employees, because your competitors are likely doing this. Your competitors that also have 10 employees are likely, at least a few, maybe not everyone on their team, but at least a few of them are operating at 10x now with the help of AI. And if you're not, you're going to get passed by those competitors at some point in the future. So I think it has never been a bigger time to learn new stuff and embrace technology. Kaushi just said U.S. hiring rate at its lowest level since 2020. Not surprised. And I think I don't think that's begun to drop yet. Your larger corporations are usually slow movers. I think this could be one of those things that is slow and then all at once. And yes, we're going to talk crypto and blockchain tech here, AI where it makes sense on chain, but it's at the end of the day, grateful for each and every one of you. It's a community show, and if you're here, whether you're listening to the live show, you're watching the live stream on YouTube, or you're catching a podcast later, or Spotify stream, care about you. Take this stuff serious. You don't have to make your whole career AI. You don't have to become the AI person, but I can't encourage you enough to start exploring, start experimenting, and don't get left behind. World's changing, and at least acknowledging that it's changing fast, acknowledging that and embracing it and finding, new ways for you to become more productive, more efficient. And sometimes that doesn't mean working 10 times as much as you work today. Hopefully it gives you time back to spend more time enjoying what you love to do and with your family, your friends, your other creative endeavors, playing sports or being active. It's just this, I think this is the worst thing you could do is ignore this. Of note, 4 or 5 long-term Yuga employees were recently laid off. Dort asked, do I think this is a combination of AI maybe replaces some of those roles combined with Yuga change direction to more of a product? I think both. He says, either way, a bit sad about it. I appreciate those individuals. I am hopeful those individuals have other things lined up. I'm guessing they probably got a nice package from, parting package from Yuga. I think it's probably the right move for Yuga. Just like I think I'm not trying to be insensitive either. It's just baked in reality. It's like businesses who don't adapt and evolve here, they're going to get lapped. They're going to have bloated payrolls where their competitors are running leaner, more efficient operations. Not making things PvP, but look at Nuco and what Austin's building, the team over there, compared to Doodles. I think there's a range of outcomes where Nuco surpasses what Doodles is building with Doodle AI, and they haven't raised $50+ million because they're a small, lean, nimble operation, and they're building from ground up with AI in mind, not trying to keep up with AI as a larger organization. So yes, it is. Anytime anyone gets laid off, or especially if it's unexpected, it is sad. I feel for those individuals. I'm empathetic to those individuals. I do think it was probably inevitable. And I kind of talked about before, it's like Yuga could have not made the move. They could have just delayed it until another 6 months, another year. And if they're delaying the inevitable, it's preventing the next door, not to be cheesy, but it's preventing the next door from opening for those employees. At least now they're able to hopefully go and find something where they can use their expertise, use their skill sets, and again, open their next door. Like really find something that makes sense in the new society that is today. I will share this post, and I promise I'll let you out of here. I said I'd get you out of here early, so I at least got to get you out of here a minute early. Jeremy asked, honest question, why is everyone jumping ship at Yuga? This is very concerning to me. Can anyone offer insight, clarity, or hope for the future of Yuga? To which Garga responded, I thought this was a great response. It says, really sucks to have to say goodbye to some long-term team members. Worst part of the job. They're incredibly talented, and anyone would be lucky to have them. We're doubling down on product plus engineering at Yuga and needed to reconfigure our team structure. Our latest acquisition brings in 26 folks into the company, in addition to a lot of very key tech. So, yes, laid off for 3, 4, 5 individuals while adding 26 engineers. And now to all 26 of those say, probably not. But as Yuga is focused more on, I mean, their home run swing is other side. Like they need to be hitting on all cylinders there. They need the talent. And hopefully those 26 individuals are leveraging this technology to where it's like the equivalent of 260 individuals. I also, I mean, kind of like just keeping it real, I think kind of what makes me sad as it relates to Yuga is I think the other, like they were mostly community people. And I think the community aspect, the community element of the Board Ape Yacht Club, it's not clear to me what that is going forward. Dort says, I hope there is an Ape Fest in 2026. I do as well. He says, I know it's the right thing to do for their long-term health. Still a stark reminder that the era of BAYC Yuga, as we knew it, is changing. Yeah, it certainly is. And there's no, I mean, they've stated that. They're also showing that with some of these moves that the focus is other side. It's a massive swing. I hope they hit it. I wish they could do both. I wish the club's not over. There's still a very vibrant community. They're building a clubhouse. It's very clear the focus is other side. And I mean, even so much as the community interaction, it's in other sides and bubbles, and rightfully so. It likely should be. I miss that element of the club, and I would love to. I'd love to see it come back someday. I don't know if it ever will, but I look at Klainos and Good Vibes Club and their focus on community and community activations and giving them something to do. I would love to see some of that from Yuga as well. And I know there's stuff to do on the other side. I get that, fully understand that. I understand they need to drive focus and attention there, drive users there. I get all that. I just wish it was an and, not an or. And I can wish things, and hey, maybe I'm missing something. It does seem pretty clear that they're focusing on the tech. And it's important. Like they got to nail that. So I get it. I understand the why behind it. I think it still doesn't. I mean, Dort nailed it. Like it still doesn't change the fact that it's a reminder that it's changed. Like the Yuga of today is not like the Yuga of 21, 22. Board Ape Yacht Club, and I think by default or by proxy, the Board Ape Yacht Club's not the same as it was in 21, 22. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or indifferent, but it's definitely different. So I am saying that, I guess. So all that to be said, it's 9:59, and last comment from Dory says, seems like there's an opportunity for well-funded entrepreneurs to take the reins for Ape Fest 2026 and actually turn it into a profitable sponsor endeavor. I'll volunteer. I'd love to help. Yuga, if you're listening, I agree. Don't look at Ape Fest as a cost center or an expense or a time suck or something you don't have the human capital for. there's people in this community that would love to help. I mean, shout out to Dort and Law this all. I'm not saying this is why they let go a few community leads, but the reality is the community leads itself. Look at Welcome Apes. Look at Dort and like what Dort and Law of the Saw and many others. I know it's not just those two, so I'm not trying to. I missed the early out. My apologies. Blame Dort. I try to give you all like 10 minutes of your life back, but blame Dort, a kid. What they do for the club with Welcome Apes and helping up onboarding new members, make them feel welcome, and helping those connections. A lot of other NFT PFP brands that's an employed position. That's they have people on the team doing that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying one way is right and one way is wrong, but my bigger point is I wholeheartedly agree here. Like, if there's any consideration of canceling Ape Fest or not doing it because we just don't have the team or we don't want to spend money on it, well then ask if some people in the community want to step up and help. I know I don't know. I believe I'm probably not the only one that would help. I think there's a lot of people that are very passionate about the community. I think a lot of people are also capable. I think there's a lot of really talented entrepreneurs in the club. And we've seen this before. There's been side events, there's been mini events, and community has been a part of, I think, the last 3 Ape Fests. So I don't know. They may not go that route, but I hope that at least is considered if they work. And I'm not starting rumors either. I'm not saying there's not going to be an Ape Fest. It was just a question, and I agree. I hope there is one. It's a logical question to ask when there's restructuring and layoffs, and most of those that they parted ways with are community roles. So all that to be said, go tune into Welcome Apes today. Whether you're a new member, you've been around for a while, or you just want to see a community-led initiative and more of what I'm just talking about, 4 p.m. Eastern today. Welcome Apes, just at Welcome Apes is the account. Dort and Law, I'm not sure if there's anyone else co-hosting, but Dort and Law, unless I'm mistaken, still man that Welcome Apes account, do an incredible job. Not just the space, but incredible job. Someone purchases a new ape, they post about on the timeline. The welcome reception they get is first class, and proud to say that ideated here on this show. Talked about, hey, how can we help the club? How can we help things better? Shout out to Vicky. Vicky, if you hear this on a replay, like, thank you for bringing that idea up one day here on the show. And look what it's become. Like, shout out to Marav as well, doing awesome work, does a lot of the design work and helps with the co-hosting and the kind of the glue over there. But yeah, it's a few passionate community members can do a lot when it comes to the community building. And I don't want this to be taken out of context. I'm not trying to sound insensitive to those that just lost their job, many of which were there for 4 years, almost 5 years in some cases. I'm doing my best to attempt to remove the individuals from my take or the conversation, because I do feel for them, and I do hope they all land on their feet. I would agree. They're all very likable people, talented people, and I hope the next door that's open for them is one that 10X's their life. That said, I do understand the moves, even if it wasn't for the tech stuff. You talk about building a decentralized IP. It's okay to lean into your community for community stuff. Now, they need to be supported, which I have not kept too close to it, but they have supported, whether it be Yuga or ApeCo. They've supported Welcome Apes. I hope they continue to support Welcome Apes and more. And to Dort's earlier point, like, yeah, if there's any consideration of winding down or sunsetting Ape Fest, please talk to the community first and see if there's a way to turn it into even a cost neutral event. I think it's very realistic. If not a profit center, it should be a cost neutral event for Yuga, and you can get a lot of help. Will it be the same as prior Ape Fest? It'd be different. Could be better. Are you going to have Eminem and Snoop Dogg and headlining music acts? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think it really matters. That's just one person's opinion who's been to all but one of the Ape Fests, and music's fine. It's good, but it's not the reason I go to Ape Fest. I think I speak for many other apes when I say that. So that said, appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. My apologies for keeping you 4 minutes after I said I'd get you out of here 10 minutes early, but good day today. Good day. Enjoy the conversations. Appreciate y'all who contributed. and go do some AI homework. That's my ask. In addition to the YouTube sub, my only other ask is go do your AI homework. Go force some time if it's not natural, something you're doing already. And join us again tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern. We'll be back. Be here on time so you get to catch that banger new intro video. Thank you all so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning.